We are now recording, and once we fill for a minute, we'll get going.
Awesome.
Like a bunch of dorks talking about an evil corporation. Like, we haven't forgotten that they laid off just an assload of people right before Christmas, right?
Everybody.
Yes, that was a really terrible thing to do.
Yes, it was.
Ow. Oh, yeah, this is the hybrid set. Man, I am not with it tonight. I enjoyed having only 5 cards.
Allied.
Yeah, I enjoyed having only 5 cards in every color to talk about last week. Or, not 5, it's 5. It's only 5 this week. Alright, that's a minute. Here we go.
Are you sure?
I'm going to stab you.
You want me to talk? You don't want me to talk?
Ding.
I'm just trying to get like a chunk of silence so I'll know where the episode starts, and I can't. Ow, jam! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is, as far as I can tell, episode 693 of the Mana Pool, and I mean, I'm Chewy, but you probably knew that. I'm joined by all the other dorks. Well, not like all the other dorks, like known to man, but all the usual dorks. Oh, who are you people?
Hey, I'm Brian. I'm the lead Rambler, Tangent Master of the group, and I am indeed another dork that exists. So, I'm glad to be here.
Hello, I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy. I'm just one of the other dorks to exist. Only count for one, no more, no less. But I'm here.
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. And I exist in a plane that hopefully we all are aware of. If not, do not fear the voice that you hear.
These are certainly some of the dorks of all time. So, yes, this
dorks
is
ever.
Episode 693, and this is a particularly special, bittersweet, maybe momentous episode, because after all this time, this is the last asterisk Mythic Conscription, which is crazy to me. But this is the last set, the last expansion set, before the Mythic Rarity came out that we haven't done yet. And it's also the last set before the Mythic Rarity came out, so how fitting. But yeah, we have gone through all of the pre-Mythic sets now, except for Eventide, which is what we're doing now. So, how about that?
About that. Coincidence? I think not.
Okay.
I've always wanted to say that, so now I've said it.
Let's check that off the bucket list.
There we go.
So, yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't come up in your job yet.
You'd think, right? But
that's not a real lawyer thing. That's a TV lawyer thing.
That is a TV lawyer thing.
Yeah. Like a Mike not knowing the difference between television and reality. Oh my god. So, for those of you that aren't aware, you got here just in time for the last one, but that's okay. All the other ones are still out there on the podcast feed. Mythic Conscription is a thing we do where we go back to old sets before there was a mythic rarity, look at the cards, the rares, and try to determine which, if any, of the cards in the set would have been mythic if that was a thing. And we've been doing it for so long that we did it for a while, and then we had to regroup because there were big disagreements on what mythic meant. We did a whole episode about what mythic meant, and then it's been so long that I think we've all forgotten all of that now.
Truly.
So we've been at this a long time.
We've been doing this a long time.
Like, let's see if I can find... Where's the search button? There we go. Mythic Conscription. Search. Oh, God. So the second episode, I think, was episode 360. Which is where we named it Mythic Conscription. So that was February of 2015. Which means sometime before that was when we started.
Yeah. So
wow.
more than 9 years.
Yeah. That is crazy.
That is something, that's for sure.
Okay, anyway. So, sorry, I just had my eyes glaze over for a minute there because that's a long time.
That's another effect of old age, is
right?
The glazing. Yeah.
So, let's get to it, shall we?
That's why we're here.
Eventide was the second set in the Shadowmoor half block, or the fourth set in the Eventide Shadowmoor block.
The lower one, Shadowmoor. Yeah,
that's what I meant. Good lord. So yeah, this one leans heavy on the hybrid, and this time it's all about enemy colored hybrids, whereas Shadowmoor was ally colored hybrids. And yeah, it's more of the dark, twisted reflection of Lorwyn's, happy, on the surface, happy and bright and cute world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The great aurora came, and all of a sudden it's nighttime, and it's nighttime forever, and it was manipulated this way by Una, Queen of the Fae, for reasons I don't know that they elaborated. Something control the world, something, turn Ashling into the Extinguisher Prophet. I'm sure it made sense at some point.
Oh yeah,
like
totally.
All magic stories do. What's that?
I said, oh yeah, totally. Let's say
yes.
So, white. What do we...
I remember really thinking that the Archon of Justice was annoying, because back in the day it just felt like every white deck played it. But I don't know.
Did we have trouble with the monocolored cards in Shadowmoor too?
We had some difficulty, I think.
Yeah. I think white was the only one, or one of the only ones that we didn't have that much trouble with.
Yeah.
Like, they're all pretty straightforward except for Endless Horizons. Like, Archon of Justice is a beefy flyer with a dies effect. Hallowed Burial is a sweeper. Light from Within is a what's the word? An anthem.
Anthem.
An
Yeah.
anthem that ties into the new keyword for the set.
Yeah, and Spirit of the Hearth is another big beefy flyer that just has
gives you shroud.
yeah, it gives you shroud, so it has a protection ability. But Endless Horizons is just weird, and I don't know if it would be mythic. So Endless Horizons for 3 and a white. Okay, let's read the
Oracle.
yeah, the Oracle text. When Endless Horizons enters the battlefield, search your library for any number of Plains cards, exile them, then shuffle. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a card you own, exiled with Endless Horizons, into your hand. So essentially, it lets you take all of the, or
Plains
some
in
number
your
of
deck.
planes out of your deck, put them over here, and lets you essentially draw one of those along with your draw every turn. So you're drawing gas and mana,
Hmm.
which is really cool. I don't know if that's mythic cool, but like it's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Like, Archon of Justice and Hallowed Burial are the best cards in the mono white group, but Endless Horizons has that extra something special about it.
Yeah, but I mean, it could also just be a weird,
A
like the white
niche.
equivalent of a red
Yeah.
rare enchantment, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like, not to belabor the point. Like, I, I don't know this time. The focus, as it was with Shadowmoor, is clearly on the hybrid cards, the multicolored cards. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Like, all of these white cards are good, but they're also,
Not mythic.
yeah.
yeah.
And Endless Horizons, this is the odd one out,
Hmm.
which is why, you know, I was drawn to it first, but even
It's
I can't say.
incredibly useful.
I mean, yeah, sure.
It's very interesting, and it's kind of high stakes, high reward. Maybe not high stakes, depending on how many you take out. Maybe you don't take out all of them. You certainly don't take out more than you need.
Yeah. And also, depending on your deck, you might not even need to get any planes from it.
Yeah, you might just be doing it so that you just draw non-land cards for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what
sure.
was that blue card that did that? Mana Short? Was that it?
Mana Severance.
Severance. That's the one. Thank you. Mana Short
Yeah,
was
but
different.
then, yeah, that just costs 2. It's a sorcery, but then they're just gone. Endless Horizons, at least, you know, you'll get some of them.
Yeah, if you want them.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of true about it. I hadn't thought about that. That it removes all the lands, so that means that you're getting a land, but you're also getting a non-land for sure,
For
as
sure.
well.
Hmm.
Every other, like, after you play the Endless Horizons, you're only drawing non-lands if you get all the planes out of your deck.
Which is, again, not necessary. You could just reduce the number of planes in your deck.
Yeah.
It's a very weird card. Which I guess we could say it's a mythic just because it's so weird.
Hmm.
It might be.
The more mythic-y of these.
It
Oh,
is
yeah.
the more myth. Yes.
Also,
others aren't.
it says planes card. Wait, it doesn't say basic planes on the.
No, it doesn't.
That is
No.
That's right. You could get, you know, Godless Shrine, Sacred Foundry, all that good stuff.
Wow, I did not notice that. My brain inserted the word basic.
Hmm.
Well, that's cool.
I can't remember if these sets had an uncommon cycle of non-basic lands that had a basic type on them. I just don't remember.
That had a basic type? I don't think so. Did they? I don't think so. We've all got Gather open. We could look.
Good.
I'm not gonna, because it's showing what I have on screen. Oh well. Should we go to blue?
To blue. To black. I remember looking at the Glen Elandra Archmage, and people were like, "Oh, this is it. This is gonna be it for blue control. This is gonna be the thing for the set." And it's a fairy. And the funny thing was, as popular as fairies were, they didn't need this. So I don't know that it ever really.
No, it's a little slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that deck, it's super slow. It's 4 mana. So it's a 4 mana 2/2 fairy wizard with persist. That's important. And then pay a blue and sacrifice it to counter target non-creature spell. So, yeah. Cardboard Samurai said they played it as a one of in the board. Which, yeah, I can see that. But it wasn't like a key component of any fairy deck at the time. Like we've got a non-blue creature evacuation, a glamour die, which is just awful. What was that? It's magical hack and oh god, what's the other one?
Oh, I can see it in my head. It's like a brain with colors around it.
Oh, I can see it now too. What is the name of that card? Yeah, that. But it has retrace. Yay.
Sam quiz.
Do what?
I said it sounds like a Sam quiz to me. It's got a brain on it.
Oh, I miss those.
Wait, was magical? Wait, Matt. But one of those two cards was basic land type, and the other one was color.
Oh yeah, this one's just color word, isn't it?
This one's just color, yeah.
But it's spell or permanent. Was the other one spell or permanent?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay, never mind. I'm thinking of a different card. This is just the one whose name we can't remember, because I think Magical Hack was the land name.
Was it called Sleight of Mind?
Maybe?
Let me see.
But either way, it replaces all instances of one color word with another, and it has retrace, and it's awful.
Yes, Sleight of Mind.
Sleight of Mind and Mind Bend, Samurai said. Oh.
Mind Bend, huh?
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
Okay, that was in... It first appeared in Mirage, and then it was reprinted in some core sets.
Huh, okay.
And to the question from earlier, yeah, there was a cycle of uncommon lands in Shadowmoor that had a basic land type on them. So
Really?
Mistveiled Plains was the white one. Mm-hmm. They came in tapped, and they had an activated ability that cost one of the color and tap, and you can only activate the ability if you controlled two or more permanents of the associated color.
Oh, okay. My brain, for some reason, while my brain is inserting things, I thought you said like multicolored lands with land types. My bad. That's what my brain shoved in there. Because otherwise, it's just another kind of planes, and I don't care. But anyway, we spent a long time on this card that could be a freaking uncommon. Like what is sanity grinding? I don't even remember this card.
It's a chroma. It's a mill chroma card.
The chroma mill card. Yeah.
Yeah, chroma didn't. So chroma was an ability word introduced here, where the effect is based on the number of mana symbols of a certain color somewhere. It was different for all of them. It's the cards weren't well received, mostly because only a couple of them were actually any good. Yeah. All the rest of them were kind of crummy. But thankfully, it gave the spark of the idea that eventually led to Devotion, which had a ton of great and interesting designs, and people really liked.
Yeah.
And it's so simple. You're like, oh, count the red mana symbols, but
On the
it really
battlefield.
does owe a lot to Chroma, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
And
does.
Devotion also just sounds better than Chroma. Sorry.
I
Yeah, because
always liked Light from Within, and as far as the chroma spells went,
Life from Within is one of the good ones.
yeah.
Light from Within with any of the white lieges or the white, lords that we saw last time, or we'll get to some of the ones down here where you have essentially white hybrid symbols in the cost is just nuts. To say nothing of even just like, oh, white knight gets +2
Yeah.
+2
I'm the 4/4 with first strike.
and pro black. Take that, terror.
But yeah, Sanity Grinding is the blue rare chroma spell that says you reveal the top. It costs blue, blue, blue. You reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each blue mana symbol in the mana costs of the revealed cards, target opponent mills. And then the stuff you revealed goes on the bottom of your library. So you could spend 3 mana and a bunch of time to mill, I don't know, 4 cards. Or you could spend 3 mana and a bunch of cards to mill like a significant chunk of your opponent's deck.
Yeah.
But that's still not Mythic? Still not Mythic.
What about Wake Thrasher?
I'm thinking Wake Thrasher just because of the odd way it works and the big numbers you can put up there. So
Right? It doesn't take long. Go ahead.
Yeah. Wake Thrasher is a merfolk soldier. For 2 and a blue, it's just a 1/1. And whenever a permanent you control becomes untapped, Wake Thrasher gets +1/+1 until end of turn.
Which happens, as you know, at the beginning of your turn. All of your stuff untaps, and the Wake Thresher goes, Hua!
Yeah.
And gets swole.
What's it go?
Hua!
Yeah.
Also, this set had the untap symbol
Yes.
in it.
Yes.
For
an
a
extra
little bit of extra
there.
buffing of the Wake Thrasher.
But yeah, if you tap 3 lands to cast this, then it's at least going to be a 4/4 on your next turn when it comes back around.
That's true, yeah. Samurai said, an 8-year-old put the fear of God into me when I watched him take 8 mana burn just to give his hammered Thrasher +8/+8 in addition to the +5/+5 it was going to get. Oh my god. Wait, what's hammered? Like Loxodon? Please tell me that's not what you mean, because now I'm
That sounds worth it. Yeah.
I'd yeah, that does sound worth it.
I'd take 8 mana burn for that.
Yeah, so that's what? +8 and 5 is 13, and plus it's a 1/1 is 14, so 17, 14 with trample, yeah.
And lifelink.
And lifelink, yeah. I don't think the lifelink's gonna matter because you're dead.
Then you don't feel as bad about taking 8 mana burn.
Oh, that's true, yeah. That hurts. So yeah, I guess if we had to pick one, it would be the Wake Thrasher, probably, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a blue Timmy mythic.
Yes.
It's still got just a hint of Johnny on it.
Was that what that smell is?
Yeah, you thought it was the seawater, but no. All right, so black, Aisling would totally be mythic, right? Just because
Absolutely.
she's Aisling?
She's Aisling. She's the story focus for this whole set. And she's a super cool design. She's mythic. For 2 and 2 black, Aisling the Extinguisher is a 4/4. So she's a 4/4 for 4 in black at a time that really, that's some beefy stats in a non-green. Whenever she deals combat damage to a player, choose target creature that player controls. He or she sacrifices that creature. So it's kind of like targeted removal, but instead of like destroy that creature, it's sacrifice. But they don't choose. Like this does so many interesting things. It's great. I think one of my first commander decks was an Ashling the Extinguisher deck, and it wasn't very good, but it was just so cool. And look at that design. The way she's twisted, the Great Aurora, and Una's manipulations. She's not red anymore, and she's the only one. Like when the Great Aurora happened, all of the joyful fire elementals turned into the cinder husks, right? And they lost all but a little bit of their fire, and she absorbed the rest of it. So they resent her, but she didn't choose this, and she's purple. I'm gushing a bit, but she's mythic, totally, right? Like, I will fight you in the streets, but she's mythic.
I mean, possibly.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Necroskitter is weird enough that it might also. I don't know. This might just be me because I love Necroskitter.
I was going to identify Necroskitter too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Necroskitter with some other combos and everything definitely could do some fun things on the board.
All right, what's it
So
do
it-
there?
It feels, I don't know if it's mythic in its own, but it definitely feels close to that line of being mythic to me.
What do you think? I'm curious. I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just not sure what you mean. You said it kind of needs something else. What do you think it needs to combo with? I think it needs to combo with things dying, but you know.
Well, that and it putting that -1/-1 counter on things. Like if there was some way, like what I'm trying to think of, like an equipment that you tap and it deals damage to a creature, and you put it on Necroskitter, so that way it deals damage, but it's a -1 counter, and then you do a board wipe.
Put.
Yeah.
Ow.
And there are it isn't too hard, especially if you're talking about like this set. Like this set and Shadowmoor too, because that's when Wither and Persist were introduced, and there were plenty of nifty, useful persist creatures. So your opponent might just already be running some things that'll be a little extra vulnerable at Necroskitter.
Hey, Dirk, tell us what Necroskitter does.
So for 1 and 2 black, it's a 1/4 elemental with Wither. So it deals damage to creature in the form of -1/-1 counters. Whenever a creature an opponent controls with a -1/-1 counter on it is put into a graveyard, you may return that card to play under your control. So if there's just a way of even if you just threw -1/-1 counters around the board. Like I said, I'm trying to think, what was the creature from Onslaught block that, like the Bane of
Progress was just -X/-X, but Black Sun's Zenith actually did put -1/-1 counters on everything.
Oh,
That came later.
Bane of the Living, by the way, Mike.
Bane of the Living was because I thought.
What did I say?
Bane of Progress?
Existence? Bane, yeah.
Oh, I said Bane of Progress. Yeah, that's something else entirely.
But that just threw whatever it had on it onto one thing. But I was trying to remember if it threw it around or not, and I couldn't remember.
Midnight Banshee from Shadowmoor.
That we talked about last week, yeah.
Yeah. Harbinger of Night, back from Mirage Revision or something, throws them around.
I'm sorry.
Hey, it does.
I know, it's just such a silly card.
It is a silly card.
yeah, it because of all the shenanigans it can do. It in itself doesn't feel it, but the extra that it does at the bottom of its text really feels like it should be.
Well, yeah, the ability to have things die and then pop back onto your side is pretty good.
So,
But
yeah.
it's also, you know, a 1/4 with Wither, so
Mm-hmm.
Necroskitter is neat. Umbra Stalker is
I would put it in the highly possible.
yeah.
That's how I feel about it. I know you guys might feel differently.
Umbra Stalker is cool, but it's just a different flavor of a Lurgoyf.
I remember when we very first talked about it, or one of the times we talked about it, we were like, yeah, that's definitely a Chewy card. I think that's Chewy in the art. I remember saying that.
Yeah, I mean, clearly right there.
I mean, to be clear for those of you that are watching the video, this part isn't me. I'm back here behind all the black. Ouch. And then Nightmare Incursion is just another like lobotomy type spell, which we have frequently said isn't mythic at all.
No.
And Needle Spectre is just another specter. So, although Needle Spectre does say when it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards that many cards, which is really good for a specter, even though it's a 1/1. Like, it doesn't have to be a 1/1.
Yeah, you can do some neat stuff.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool, but still, it's a specter. Although it's on a absolutely terrifying looking bug. Brian, don't look at the art on Needle Spectre.
I'm looking at it. I can handle it. I just little cold shivers. One day, somebody at Wizards will draw up art for a spider that's also got wings and a stinger, and we're just gonna.
Yeah, that'll be the day that Brian and I both just die.
Yeah.
So, we got sort of half and half on Ashling and Necroskitter. That sounds about right.
Yeah. I think Necroskitter has a stronger case than Ashling.
I mean,
Really?
as far as the card itself goes, I think so too. But Ashling also has that main villain thing that,
Yeah.
at least for a while there, WotC would try to make them a higher rarity for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's less like, I don't dispute the terminology, but it's less like she's the main villain and more like she's the Death Star, not necessarily Vader, like the actually instrument of this. So, but yeah, it's still very much a story focus. At least a little more to work with here than some of these. We got 2 contenders.
Right? All right, let's go to
and a
red.
bug. We have no contenders. No. I didn't know about Stigma Lasher. Stigma Lasher almost feels mythic in that, like, Lotus Cobra sort of. This is very efficient, and, you know, what it does is crippling, or to some decks, but I wonder if it's also just unique enough, because its effect lasts even after the creature does. So, if I'll read it, Stigma Lasher, not the same as Sigma Lasher, that's from Mega Man, but Stigma Lasher for two red, is a 2/2 with Wither, and whenever it deals damage to a player, that player can't gain life for the rest of the game.
It does say damage. It doesn't say combat damage. What the hell?
No, you know what? I feel more confident in this now. This comes down, and any effect that either allows it to just combat damage. I mean, it's a 2-drop combat damage against the opponent, or find some way to make it ping or whatever. Fling it, and the opponent is locked out of gaining life for the rest of the game. Even if they're not playing a life gain deck, that is I'm gonna say that's mythic because that's a super unique effect.
Yeah, it's not gonna matter a lot, but sometimes the incidental life gain that a person expects to get can. Kitchen Finks was very popular
Sure.
at the time. So yeah, turning off that part of Kitchen Finks can actually matter, especially if you're playing red.
Which you are
Mm.
for this. So yeah. Dirk, what do you think?
Wholeheartedly agree.
Alright.
I'm thinking of like black decks that are the way I play my game is I give up life so that way I can do something and gain life back. Well, this definitely messes those players up.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
does.
I mean, it literally shuts their deck down.
You're not incorrect.
In the chat, Wolfie Harvell says, "Rekindled flame looks like Nicol Bolas."
Huh. Huh.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I made
Spoiler
it.
alert.
Hey, look, I made a candle. It looks
Spoiler-
like Bolus. What?
Wow.
Ah!
And he's on fire.
That's now that I see it, I can't not see it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. So let's
It's
see.
not mythic, but
No.
it does look like Nicol Bolas.
Yeah. Yeah. What's rekindled flame? It's a possibly recursive burn spell. Fiery bombardment's a red rare enchantment that lets you sacrifice creatures for damage.
Oh boy.
Thunderblast is a ball lightning variant.
Hate Flare.
Hey, Flayer's fun, but even I stopped playing with it eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Tell us about Hate Flare real quick, Mike, just because it's such a weird card.
Hey, Flayer's cool. I still like it. Maybe I will try to play with it again.
let the hate flow through you, Mike.
So for 5 red, that's 7 mana. It's a 5/5 elemental with Wither. So it deals damage to creatures as -1/-1 counters. But it also has an activated ability. It has an untap ability. Pay 2 and a red and untap. Hate Flare deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player. So yeah, it costs 7 to get down there, and it's just a 5/5 for 7. You can get much better deals for 7, but that's a pretty big direct damage ability that it gives you access to.
Yeah. It's balanced by the fact that you have to find some way to tap it first, whether that's attacking or whatever. But, I mean, I do like that you can attack with it and then untap it to shoot whatever they might throw in front of it to block anyway.
Yeah, it's great. And even if it's, if they have a 7/7 on defense, because Hate Flare has Wither, you can use that to turn that 7/7 into a 2/2. So it won't be a threat on the defense.
Exactly. But all that said, it's just a big dumb red creature. It is not mythic.
It's fun.
Yeah. So it looks like the Stigma Lasher is pretty much it.
Looks that way.
Yeah. All right. So green is where we start getting, at least where I started getting some interesting ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's arguably the best chroma of the rares, right?
Primal Crux.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6. What? 1, 2. It's a 6 green mana.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Primal Crux costs 6 green mana. So green, 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 green. It has Trample, and its power and toughness are each equal to the number of green mana symbols in the mana costs of permanents you control. So it's always a 6/6 for 6. It's usually bigger than that.
Yeah. I mean, every chroma card has its advantages and disadvantages, like Fiery Bombardment. But this is, I don't know, Mythic, and it feels weird to make this one Mythic when they're not. I mean, it's not a like super tight cycle or anything, but I don't know. I don't know.
Because it's on a creature, it feels like it can get out of hand very easily.
Yes.
It has built-in trample, so if it was just a big dumb thing that didn't have trample or any
Yes.
form of evasion, I might go meh. But
Yeah.
Trample leads a long way to it being a mythic.
when I was interning with the public defender's office before I actually went into my own practice, and I was in law school, my supervisor was interested in learning about magic, so I built her just a green deck, and then I tried playing other more tricksy decks against it, and her deck with Primal Crux smashed me to pieces. So I'm probably a little more biased, but every time she'd play it, she would get this huge grin on her face, and I'm like, I'm dead. I'm just dead. So I'm biased, but it also gets stupid big very quickly. Mythic, I'm not sure, but
Yeah, see, that's not even the one I was thinking of, but
what were you thinking of?
I was thinking of the Helix Pinnacle.
I think Helix Pentacles is a
Yeah.
very good contender as well.
Definitely.
So for
Mike,
green mana, it is an enchantment with Shroud, and it says pay X, put X tower counters on Helix Pinnacle. At the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 100 or more tower counters on Helix Pinnacle, you win the game.
Now I know we've had various discussions over what we say the last several years about alternate win conditions, and I think we've never really said it's an absolute thing one way or the other. So it all depends on
Not
how the
automatic.
card. No, but not a. But we also like some things like with sweepers, we tend to be like, all right, sweepers are almost certainly rare unless it does something really really unique. This alternate win conditions can be either. This is pretty unique. What do you guys think?
Yeah. It has the oh wow feeling of a
Yeah.
mythic card.
I mean, when we covered Millennium Calendar, I think in when you see like words like double or triple, if you remember like the beacons back from Mirrodin, when you would see like double your life total, double this, that has an effect. Triple this. When you see 1,000 or whatever. Well, here, at the beginning of your upkeep, if there are 100, like, is that hard to do? I mean, without comboing? Yes. Is it always worth it? Question mark. But does it have a cool factor? Absolutely. I'm a fan of Simic Ascendancy, so which is a similar sort of win condition. Not exactly the same, but yeah, I think Helix Pinnacle could have been Mythic, sure.
Yeah, just because it's so freaking weird. And it says Shroud, which means they can't just shoot it. Which is
Right.
always the problem with like all of the oh I win cards is
Yeah.
no you don't. But
You've got like Tranquility or something, but otherwise like it by definition, can't be stopped by targeted effects, so
yeah. Now, someone, where was it? Wolfie in the chat said that the Bloom Tender is what he was leaning towards for Mythic.
Bloom Tender is really, really good, but and this is a free range discussion. I'm not here to tell anybody, especially someone here in chat, that they're wrong. I think a mana producer, kind of like we were just saying about win conditions, a mana producer needs to do something really, really kind of like wow to be mythic. And that may lead us down the rabbit hole that is Lotus Cobra, which started as mythic and was a controversial mythic, and then was reprinted at rare later, so some of that kind of died down.
Mm-hmm.
But when Lotus Cobra was printed at mythic, people were like, kind of threw up their hands, like, all right, you know, clearly this is just a money grab sort of thing. So, Bloom Tender for 1 and a green is a elf druid, 1/1, and tap. For each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color. Well, add 1 mana of that color, period. It would say to the mana pool, so haha. So it's going to tap for at least 1 because of the Bloom Tender, and it can tap for up to 5 till they add that mysterious purple 6 color. Maybe that'll be in Murders. It'll be the color of murder.
Purple is the color of murder. Well, no, black is the color of murder.
That already, it
Yeah.
already is, isn't it?
But in real life, purple is the color of murder.
True.
That's why so many kings wore it. Oh!
That took a turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
With hybrid having a presence in the sets like this, it's a little easier to charge up Bloom Tender than you might think. You don't even have to be playing like you could be playing a mostly like green and black deck, but if you have a green blue hybrid card and a green white hybrid card, they're going to contribute to the color count for Bloom Tender once they're on the battlefield.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. I'm not sure about Mythic status, but it's a great card.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it as mythic just because I don't want them to make cards like this mythic.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want their efficient utility cards like the Lotus Cobra Backlash.
And Lotus Cobra eventually got downshifted.
Yeah. So the only other 2 cards are a weird cheap green elf and a commander card that everybody loves.
Regal Force was also a legacy and maybe modern card, wasn't it?
I think it was. Yeah, it was
like in legacy elf decks.
Yeah, it was what, I can't remember what those decks were called. Were they just called elf decks?
Elves, yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. Couldn't remember if they had a stupid name or not. Hey, Dirk, what's the Regal Force do? For anyone that doesn't know.
Regal Force for 4 and 3 green. It's a 5/5 elemental. When Regal Force comes into play, draw a card for each green creature you control.
So yeah, in those legacy decks, you would set up like a loop where you would get elves and mana, and elves and mana, and elves and mana, and when you built up 7, you would play Regal Force and refill, and be like, mwahaha. And it was kind of terrifying to witness.
Yeah.
When that would happen, but also like it's just a fun card that was heavily played in early Commander. It might still be. I don't know. I don't keep up with the fact that I can say the Commander meta makes me so mad that I don't even think about it anymore. So like I could see the Regal Force being like another Timmy Mythic, just because that's a lot of card draw if you're doing it right. But I'm not sure which one, like between that and Primal Crux, I'm not sure which one would be more likely to be Mythic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Look, even Mike doesn't know.
Yeah.
And Mike
Maybe
knows
Regal
everything.
Force. Maybe Regal Force has a slightly stronger case.
Maybe.
Card draw is ridiculous. I'm still going to lean on the Helix Pinnacle for my pick, though, you know.
I agree.
Yeah, Helix Pinnacle all the way.
Well, shall we start with the hybrids then?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
I'm
black-white.
going to go ahead and jump out on a ledge and say that all lieges are going to be Mythic.
So last time I think we said some of the lieges may or may not be, because those are the lords, right? And then there's the five hybrid mana costs that are more like they didn't use the word back then, but the gods. We do draw a distinction between those. You're talking about the lieges specifically?
Now, in this set, the lieges did things. And did they do things in the other set, or were they just the pump?
They had either keyword abilities or like small simple abilities just for themselves.
Yeah. These
like
lieges...
The blue-black one had flying. I think the red-black one made your opponent lose life if they targeted it or something like that.
that sounds right.
The green-white one, you could put on the battlefield if someone made you discard it. The blue-black one was unblockable. No, I'm sorry. That's the blue-black divinity. Never mind.
Yeah. Like, okay, the Bortusk Liege had trample.
Yes.
The Glenlinger had flying. Oh, God. Thistledown had flash. Wiltleaf had the... If an opponent makes you discard it, put it on the battlefield. I missed one. How did I miss one? Black, right, green, black.
The Ashenmoor lieges.
Oh, Ashenmoor. There we go. If it became targeted by an opponent, they lost 4 life. That's what it was. So yeah, they were all smaller abilities, but these lieges have more going on.
Yeah, their abilities are a little more out there.
They're slightly expensive, but they have hybrid costs, so you're more likely to be able to play them.
So let's look at the lieges then as a cycle. So we got the Deathbringer Liege is the first one. It costs 2 and 3 white-black hybrids. And they all have other blank creatures of the other color, of each color, get +1/+1.
Right.
So
Yes.
they all say that. But the Deathbringer Liege is a 3/4. It says whenever you play a white spell, you may tap target creature. And whenever you play a black spell, you may destroy target creature if it's tapped.
So if you played a hybrid black-white creature, you destroyed the creature.
Yeah, you tap a creature and then kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's way better than flying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that it can do that is awesome. And then the fact that it can make your creatures bigger. Particularly if they're hybrid creatures, it incentivizes you to go hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes it a very terrifying card.
Excuse me.
The red-blue liege is the Mind Rack liege. 3 generic and 3 blue-red hybrid for a 4/4 horror, so 6 for a 4/4. Other blue, other red, blah 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 blah, +1/+1. For 4 blue-red hybrid symbols, you may put a blue or red creature card from your hand onto the battlefield.
I had forgotten about that. Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Holy
All
crap!
See, I was getting ready for this, and I'm like, okay, lieges, I know what they do, kind of keep moving. And I was looking at the gods, and I was like, I feel like the ones in Shadowmoor were a little more interesting. So it's almost like a reversal. Now we can get into the gods later, and I'll get everybody's opinion on that.
Yeah,
But I
we'll do
think I
that next.
discounted. I discounted the lieges. So
Yeah, and that's because last week the gods were the obvious mythics and the lieges were obviously not. But as you said, this week or this set, it's a little less
It's up in
defined.
the air.
so
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So the Creekwood liege, what's that do?
Well, for 1 and black green or 3 black green hybrid, so 4 mana total. It's a 2/2. All black green creatures you control get +1/+1 with each. And it says at the beginning of your upkeep, if you may put a 1/1 black and green worm creature token onto the battlefield.
Yeah, which means you may put a 3/3.
3 black and green worm
Yeah.
token onto the battlefield.
Oh,
You're going
so-
to be putting that onto the battlefield.
Yeah. I
It's been so
mean,
long since I thought about this card, I forgot that that was the result. Yes.
I mean, if somebody kills the liege, sure, they're 1/1s, but you know,
But
dies to removal
dice
is
to
never
removal is not a thing. Yeah.
yeah.
So that one's pretty good.
Getting a blocker every turn. Yeah.
The Balefire liege was always the one that I thought should have done more.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's exciting.
Yeah, what's that do, Mike?
So the Balefire Liege, it costs 5, 2, and 3 of the red-white hybrids. It's a 2/4 Spirit Her. It has the 2 Anthem abilities for red and white creatures. Whenever you cast a red spell, Balefire Liege deals 3 damage to target player. Whenever you cast a white spell, you gain 3 life.
So it turns
It's
all
almost-
of your red-white spells into whatever they are, plus a lightning helix
Yeah.
to the face,
Ever
because it says
you
target
ever
player.
notice that ever since they printed Lightning Helix, they have made so many callbacks to it. It's like,
So many.
yeah. It really was just a perfect little encapsulation of a Boros card.
It really was. And the Balefire liege, like I said, this is the one that I always thought should have been more popular, either with us playing cards or elsewhere.
I never had one.
I think I've got one.
But I know that Dirk played the heck out of the last liege.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Merkfiend Liege.
Yeah, I get the
Yeah,
feeling
that's-
that's why Dirk said that.
Well, it's an amazing card, but they all are pretty epic. So the Merkfiend Liege for 2 and 3 green-blue hybrid. It's a 4/4 horror that other green, other blue creatures you control get +1/+1, blah blah. Untap all green and or blue creatures you control during each other player's untap step. And because blue and green have lots of tap do something, that means that when you can tap all your stuff down on your turn, whether it's attacking, whether it's doing whatever, and then when it's your opponent's turn, you untap and now you have blockers and more abilities to do whatever shenanigans you're doing. And it's awesome.
Yeah, I think this one might be the most just nakedly powerful liege.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's only creatures at least is a it's not a big limitation, and in green this is what you want to do anyway, but it's not like you're untapping lands. Looking at you, Dryad Arbor.
But yes, I built a deck that has 4 of these in it, and they very much make the deck.
Didn't
Like,
you also play Seedborn Muse alongside it?
I could have. I don't remember if I do or not.
Sure, why not?
But I mean, why not?
Yeah.
But like I said, it's that it bumps my creatures in that deck, and it lets me do more things. So yes, please.
Like, done. And Dirk's like, all right, at the end of your turn, tap this for this, and this for that, and that for this, 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 and that for this. And okay, what am I at now? And then this happened. Okay. All right, that was the end of your turn. Oh, is it my turn? Untap everything. Oh my god. It got to the point Dirk's like, all right, are you going to come at me? Because I'm going to go ahead and tap all my stuff now.
No.
Yeah,
do
go
it.
ahead. Wait, I'm going to swing at you for 3. Is that all right? What am I at? 168? Yeah, I'll take 3. Thanks.
Next turn, you're gonna die.
I mean, it's a great card. But again, that the bump and that they do things, and the extra things they do is not like piddly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It by itself makes it probably a rare card in itself. But then to be like, oh, we're gonna add this onto this, and the bump and everything, to me it feels like it puts them over the edge of being mythic.
Yeah, like if Balefire Liege was just a liege that had, I don't know, first strike, we'd be like, rare. But
Yeah.
but these all do just sick things. So let's do the gods now. So
All right.
going back up to white black, do they all cost 5 still?
They all cost 5.
Yeah. So the white black one is the Divinity of Pride. It's a 4/4 with flying and lifelink, but it gets +4/+4 as long as you have 25 or more life. Which is why it was a commander staple for a long time, because you have more than 24 life. Huh. How about that?
I mean, so it's either a 4/4 or an 8/8 with flying and lifelink. That's really, really good. But like somehow compared to, Demigod of Revenge.
That's
and
yeah,
some of the
that's what I
other
was about to
ones.
say. It's not like
Yeah.
it brings all 3 of its friends out of the graveyard every time something happens. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like, it's really good and really efficient, but it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit of a win more effect, which I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
those are exciting, but sometimes they're just that's fine.
Yeah. Dominus of Fealty in red and blue. So 4/4 with flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may gain control of target permanent until end of turn. If you do, untap it and it gains haste until end of turn. The fact that it's any permanent is pretty cool, and since then we've gotten planeswalkers, and so actually we had
Planeswalkers
planeswalkers.
existed.
Yep,
Yeah.
but we've had a lot more of them. But it's a bit.
It's temporary.
It's an enhanced threaten every turn, which is cool.
It's
Punish
awesome.
your
Yeah.
turn. Yeah.
But I feel like, again, it's still not as good as the ones from Shadowmoor.
Right. And then, the Mind Rack Liege is still somehow a little more exciting. So, okay.
Yeah.
This one, the black green, you mentioned about the Balefire Liege. The Deity of Scars was always the one that I thought, okay, this is gonna do a lot, and it really didn't.
I
It's
wonder why you thought that.
7. Do what?
Oh, go ahead.
It's just very evocative. Go ahead.
It's a 7/7 with trample. Deity of Scars comes into play with 2 -1/-1 counters on it. For a black-green hybrid, remove a -1/-1 counter from Deity of Scars. Regenerate Deity of Scars.
I mean, on its face, it's so cool. It's a 5/5 for 5 with trample. You can remove counters to make it bigger, and in a set with, Wither and Persist, you might find ways to get more counters on it, which is fine because then you can regenerate it. It's just kind of a big dumb guy, and like the Primacrux, but needs a little more work, I guess. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, it's if you want to swing with it, if you want it to be able to do lots of damage, then you run the risk of it being destroyed. But if you want to have it play it safe and have the counter on it so it can regenerate, that means you're swinging for less. So it's like you're having to play a political game of, do I play it safe or do I not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you had the Creekwood Leech out, though.
You could have the Creekwood Leech out, yeah. Yeah, Dative Scars just isn't... It might be the least exciting to me of the...
Yeah, it doesn't do anything for me. Which is why I was like, I wonder why Brian thought this would be the big one.
Because it was a big... with trample.
That's true.
Yeah.
And he has a big ass axe.
Maybe
Look
somebody
at that
out there... Maybe somebody out there really made it work, and if so, then more power to them.
I think also maybe just for people who started playing during a certain time period, anything that looks like the set's Jusum Djinn, you've been conditioned to be like, oh, it's new Jusum Djinn, and then you forget that isn't super great as it used to be.
So the red-white one is the Nobilis of War, which is a 3/4 with flying, which is good, and attacking creatures you control get +2/+0.
Which is fine.
This is one of my favorites.
I mean, it's awesome, but like...
But it's boring compared... That's the thing, is it's boring compared to the other ones we got.
Yeah, the Bellfire Leech is way cooler.
And the gods from Shadowmoor, way more interesting.
Yeah, and there's one left, which I know Dirk also loves. So, hey, Dirk, what's that do?
Sorry. It's the Overbeing of Myth. So, it's a star. Overbeing of Myth's power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. At the beginning of your draw step, draw a card.
Yeah, so it's a Amaro with a Howling Mine attached.
Mm-hmm. And that also was played in the Murkfiend Liege deck.
Yeah,
I think I had one, and so I threw it in the deck because...
Yeah.
So yeah, again, that's really good, but the Liege is just better. Like,
yeah,
it. I remember at the time it tripped us out that they flip-flopped, like just the power level of whoops, I went too far, of these two cycles between Shadowmoor and Eventide.
Overbeing of Myth was the pre-release promo for this set.
Yeah, it was.
I think that's how I
remember
ended
that.
up putting it in my deck, was I got it from the pre-release.
Ow, sorry.
So,
Whew.
lieges, do we feel like do those feel more mythic than the gods?
In this set, to me, yeah, straight up.
Definitely.
What was that, Mike?
There's clear separation there. I was saying definitely there's a clear separation there.
Yeah. Which again is it's just weird to me that they did that swap, but I wonder if that would have pissed people off back in the day, because you know how people love their like symmetry on things. I wonder if like the lieges being rare and the gods being mythic, and then in the next set the lieges being mythic and the gods being rare would have just caused people to wail and gnash their teeth.
That would have felt odd.
It really
Game is
would
broken.
have.
Everyone's gonna leave. The game is officially dead.
I mean, it would have
It-
felt
it-
weird,
on-
but given what the cards do, I mean, it just seems right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you, but it also would not grok well at all if you had two sets like that, and you're like, hey, here's an A cycle and a B cycle, and in this set the A cycle is mythic, and in the next set the B cycle is mythic, and the first one's rare. You'd be like, what? People get expectations. When you go to Lorwyn, you have shock lands. When you have, this cycle is
What?
this, that's kind of what you expect.
Should we
Or
just
that the
assume he meant
legendary
Ravnica?
creature's always good.
Yeah, what'd I say?
You said Lorwyn.
Yeah, no, when we go to Ravnica, sorry. So many planes.
So little time. Wait, no.
Well, do we want to turn to the rest of the hybrid cards then?
Yeah, that'll make each hybrid easier now because there's only 3 left.
Yeah. In white, black, these are honestly all pretty interesting. I think you can try to make a case for any of them, but
Yeah.
I would throw my weight behind Pyrrhic Revival because it's a mass revive, but with a twist. For 3 generic and 3 white-black hybrid, it's a sorcery. Each player returns each creature card in his or her graveyard to the battlefield with a -1/-1 counter on it, which is fascinating because in this set with persist means their persist has already been activated, so they can't come back again. But also, small creatures are just gonna die.
Yeah, the weenies
So-
are just screwed,
Yeah.
which is hilarious.
This would be fascinating in a I'm in a blood artist deck like Chewie's deck.
Yes.
Everything comes back, everything dies.
Isn't a
Wow.
blood artist like a 0/1?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a 0/1.
Yeah, I'd have to play him
Yeah.
first.
Well, if he comes back, they'll each see each other die like
Oh.
immediately.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
That's a weird ass combo deck. Yeah, I don't know. As much as I like all 3 of these cards, and I do, like Everstrike is really cool with auras.
Mm-hmm.
So it's for 5 mana, 3 and 2 white-black hybrid. It's a 2/2 with flying. It gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to it. And for X and 2 hybrid, return Everstrike from your graveyard to the battlefield. You may put an aura card with converted mana cost X or less from your hand onto the battlefield attached to it. And if you don't, you exile Everstrike, which I always thought was a weird little rider there. I guess it's to keep you from just bouncing it out of the graveyard forever.
I
For white.
Yeah, if you, yeah. I guess there's no way to stop you from activating the ability if you don't have the aura. So they put that in there as kind of a
That makes
way
sense.
to do that. Like unless they said as an additional cost to activate this, reveal an aura from your hand or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, that rider makes more sense now that I've thought about it for half a second. But like that's not mythic. That's just a weird ass aura rare. And the Still
It's
Moon
cool.
Cavalier.
Yeah, I was thinking about making a case for Everstrike until Brian was talking more about Pyrrhic Revival, and it's like, nah, Everstrike is just cool.
Yeah.
It's neat, and it almost helps that it is so weird and kind of niche that you go, yeah. But
Yeah.
and I have always had a thing for Still Moon Cavalier.
Yeah, Still Moon Cavalier is a callback to so many cards going all the way back to what, Fallen Empires?
Fallen Empires and Ice Age, yeah.
Yeah. But it's still just a little creature with neat abilities. Like, it's not For 3, okay, here we go
You get
again.
Flying, also Cold Snap. Yeah, Fallen Empires, Ice Age, and Cold Snap.
Yeah. So Stillman Cavalier for 1 and 2 hybrid is a 2/1. It's pro white, pro black. For 1 hybrid, it gets flying until end of turn. For 1 hybrid, it gets first strike until end of turn. And for 2 hybrid, it'll get +1/+0 until end of turn. So, like, if you know all those cards that it's a reference to, you're like, oh yeah. But otherwise, it's just, no, okay. That's neat. Those cards always came in pairs, a black one and a white one. Sort of like the White Knight and the Black Knight. I think they were the Fallen Empire's version of the White Knight and the Black Knight.
Yeah. And there was also a pair in Ice Age then.
Yeah.
That was similar. So the ones in Fallen Empires were clerics. The ones in Ice Age were knights. And then in Cold Snap, the pair of knights there had activated flying instead of activated first strike.
Yeah. So the Cavalier's cool, but it's not Mythic by any means. I wouldn't even call the Pyrrhic Revival a Mythic myself, but I can see it.
You can see the case for it.
Oh yeah, straight up.
Okay. So 1, we feel fairly good about, and then 2, where we're like, they're neat.
They're neat.
Yep.
So blue-red, these are all weird cards.
Yeah, no.
I play with the Call of the Skybreaker in a hybrid deck that I have that's red-blue, and I can't remember if I actually have played it or if it sits in my hand and then at some point I end up having to discard it.
That's okay. It has retrace.
By discarding a land card.
Black-green arguably has the better retrace, although I guess that's really depending on your taste. But
that one's awesome.
We're not there yet.
I know, but Brian brought it up. It's his fault.
That's what I was talking to.
And it's a point of comparison, so.
Yeah. Call a Skybreaker for 7 mana makes you a 5/5 flyer, and it has retrace. And
but
that's
it's
it.
so expensive is the problem.
Yeah. Like, I remember when the set came out, there were like rumbles that, oh, this will be the finisher in some sort of draw go deck, and I don't know if it ever was.
Yeah, being 7 makes it. Being 7 at sorcery speed makes that difficult.
Yeah. And then Crackleburr just takes way too much effort for not enough.
No.
Not enough benefit.
It's supposed to be like a callback to Tradewind Rider, but it's just too difficult.
Yeah. Because you have to pay 2 mana, tap it, and tap 2 untapped red creatures to bolt something. Or pay 2 mana and untap it, and untap 2 tapped blue creatures to bounce something. Okay.
Target creature to its owner's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are both neat, but the fact that you have to have at least 2 other creatures and to make either of them work. More than that if something's not hybrid red-blue. You know, it's just, eh.
The only way this one would be truly useful is if you built the deck around these and you engineered the whole deck around getting this whole thing set up.
Yeah.
Which, that's a lot of work.
It is.
I mean, it's this and 2 other red-blue creatures.
Yeah, you just have to play a lot of creatures.
Yeah, and then you can go spend your turn going tap them, untap them, untap them, untap, tap them, untap them, tap them, untap them, until you run out of mana. Oh, Samurai pointed out that Call the Skybreaker was supposed to be the answer. Instead, it was bulk rare. It was awesome and limited. That is accurate. Because it's hard enough to deal with one 5/5 flyer in limited. Dealing with multiple 5/5 flyers means you win. And then what was the other one? Mirror Sheen is just a weird red-blue rare enchantment.
Yeah, I don't know what you're really supposed to do with it.
Are you supposed to
either you're supposed to, yeah, I don't know. You either play something weird that can target you and I don't know. You just wait for your opponent to walk face first into it, which usually isn't a good plan.
I could see it as being I'm going to play this. If you do anything to me, understand that it's going to come back at you.
Yeah. So it's fine for like just a multiplayer deterrent, but
that means you have to keep that mana open all the time in
Yeah.
case something happens.
Yeah, so it's an enchantment that says for 3 mana, copy target instant or sorcery spell that targets you. You may choose new targets for the copy. So it's not even a surprise, because like Mike said, it's sitting right there.
Yeah. And it doesn't redirect it. It just copies it, so there's still one pointed at you.
Yeah. Now, you can, if you have the mana, copy things multiple times.
You can.
But that would mean your opponent walked face first into it twice? Like...
Or maybe like if you had 10 mana, you could lightning bolt yourself and then copy it 3 times at your opponent. I don't know.
Yeah, seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Which is why it's not Mythic.
Yeah.
All right, well, how about black-green then? Surely there's something in black-green.
There's
And
Doomscape.
as much as I love the Doomscape, it is not Mythic.
No.
Oh,
It is a very
It's a
beefy
big
boy.
creature.
Yeah, it's the Lord of the Pit variant.
Yeah, that's all like positive.
Yeah, it is.
And
It is all
sometimes-
upside. It's a
sometimes
10-10
you just
with,
want it to eat itself.
That's super hot. It's a 10-10 with trample, and that costs 4 and 3 black-green hybrid. And at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. You gain life equal to that creature's toughness. So there's no if you don't, it punches you. There is no if you don't. You have to, because if you can't sacrifice anything else, you sack the Doomscape and gain 10 life. Which for 7 mana is okay. It's not great.
It's fun.
It is fun. I love it. It's not Mythic. At least I don't think so. And I love it. And I don't think it's Mythic.
Hard time making
Yeah.
a case for it. I just like it. We weren't going to end without talking about it. The Sapling of Kulfanor is another story, important character, where Kulfanor essentially sacrificed itself. I think it identifies as a male, so himself, right before the Great Aura, so that they could make a sapling to kind of foil Una's plans. Yeah.
I remember Sapling of Kulfanor being popular in the early Commander scene.
Oh, yeah. So what's it do, though?
So for 3 generic and 2 black-green hybrid is a 2/5. So 2/5 for 5. Legendary, it's indestructible, and when it attacks, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, you gain life equal to that card's toughness, lose life equal to its power, then put it into your hand. So very much a Doran the Siege Tower sort of thing. Like, low power, high toughness, just like it.
It's such a weird card. But then it's indestructible. Although that meant...
It's indestructible, yeah.
That meant less in the set loaded with Wither, but...
That's true. That is true. But it's still indestructible So
Yeah, it's a neat card, but I I don't know. Do you know? I don't know.
that that's kind of the point. I think is not really sure.
It could be a story mythic like Ashling.
Yeah.
Could be.
And
And
it
then
does
there's
some
Worm
interesting
Harvest.
things. If you
Mhm.
load up with the creature toughness, then you've got some life gain in there.
Mhm.
And then Worm Harvester or Worm Harvest is the other one.
Yeah, and Worm Harvest
Which
is fun. Also ridiculous and limited.
Yeah,
very good retrace card.
it can be good and constructed too. It was a one of in the in the modern Life from the Loam deck, Assault Loam deck that I played for a while. It's just like an alternate win condition. So for 2 and 3 black green hybrids, it's a sorcery. Create a 1/1 black and green worm creature token for each land card in your graveyard, and it has retrace. So since
Yeah.
retrace involves discarding lands, it'll be a little more charged up each time.
Yeah. And yeah, Samurai said I think it was downshifted to uncommon. I just checked, and yeah, in Modern Masters it was an uncommon.
Yeah, it was. I mean, unless you're doing something else like self milling, playing a significant number of fetch lands, the first one or two casts are just not going to be worth it at all. You're much better off, like I said, unless you're doing something particular, you're much better off just like discarding it and waiting until later to retrace it.
Yeah.
Mm.
And retrace, for those that don't remember, because I didn't, you can play the card from your graveyard by discarding a land in addition to all of its other costs.
Yeah. And it doesn't exile after that resolution. It resolves normally and goes back to the graveyard.
So it's really good, but it's not mythic. Oh well. So red white, we've got Figure of Destiny.
Figure of Destiny.
I mean,
The one that started it all.
The one that started all, and there's been so many
cards over the years are callbacks to Figure of Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it really made them think about like how they track some of this stuff even. So it was so elegant, but it's paved the way.
Was Figure of Destiny the release day promo?
It was something because I had a shiny one that wasn't a foil from the pack. So maybe? But for a single red-white hybrid, it's a 1/1 Kithkin. Nice. But you pay a single red-white hybrid, and it becomes a 2/2 Kithkin Spirit. Ah, it grows. And then you can pay 3 hybrid, and if it's a spirit, it becomes a 4/4 Kithkin Spirit Warrior. Wow.
Womp, womp, womp,
Mm-hmm.
And then for 6 hybrid, if it's a warrior, it becomes an 8/8 Kithkin Spirit Warrior Avatar with flying and first strike. So, like, this was the original, level up card?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what we called it. Like, okay, and my figure
it.
levels up.
Yes.
Yeah. And later they made Level Up, and all the cards they made, and not every card can be Figure of Destiny, but none of them
Thank goodness.
were. Yeah. This was it, and what... I mean, I feel like talking about it now, we've had so many, including the Phyrexian Sleeper Agent that's still in Standard, where it's the black one where it keeps getting bigger.
I love that card.
All the comments I would make, people would be like, well, duh, because we know how this works now. But just the sheer amount of card value that you get out of this, and the fact that, like, if they leave it alone, well, of course they leave it alone, because it's a 1-drop. Who wants to, use a kill spell on a 1-drop? but this 1-drop will win you the game by itself. And not like, in 20 turns. So, this card is amazing. However many years later, this card is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, on turn 3, it could upgrade itself to a 4/4 with haste. Because it was already on the board.
Yeah.
Like, and even ignoring the flying first striking 8/8, like having a 4/4 with haste on turn 3, that's just stupid. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
And that's not like Magical Christmas Land. That's have 3 mana. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also lives in the space of hybrid cards that aren't dependent on that. You don't have to play both colors for it to be good.
yeah.
For the longest time, I've played this in a mono white deck. I know that during its lifetime, it was a real thing in mono red decks.
It was, yeah. I think I play it in a mono white deck.
Mm-hmm.
Samurai said, my favorite part about it was that if you resolve that last mode, you either won or lost right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because either you run roughshod over your opponent or you spend 6 mana for them to then kill it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, either way, you're down a card. So.
yeah.
So good.
Yeah, like for those of you that weren't playing back then, it might not look like that much, but it really was.
It really was. It really is. Best Kithkin ever. Also best spirit. Also best warrior. No. Oh, well, and I guess that's a point, is that all those, creature types mattered at the time too. Because block was still there.
Yeah, the warrior type mattered. The spirit type mattered for a few things outside.
And the Kithkin.
Because was it this block was the one where they changed the creature types to include jobs?
Well, they made Drobs a tribal focus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
They didn't change anything, but it was, like Mike said, it was a focus. So.
Gotcha.
Excuse me again. So yeah, the Figure of Destiny, I'm pretty sure if they didn't make it mythic, it's because they intentionally wanted it to be rare to make it not impossible to get a hold of.
Yeah. Seriously.
But the other two are, just cards. Rise of the Hobgoblins is a weird ass card because it's an enchantment where you can pay extra to get creature tokens, but then it has activated give your red and white creatures first strike until end of turn instead of. It's an enchantment that does nothing, but it allows you to do things. It's a weird. It's always struck me as a weird card.
It's a slightly more efficient goblin offensive, because I think that was X1 red to get X goblins. So this is a little more efficient than that, since the base before the X is just 2.
I don't even remember that card.
Goblin offensive. I think it was first printed as an uncommon in Urza Saga. It might have been in a couple core sets after that.
And then Waves of Aggression is just another crap. What was Relentless Assault?
But it has retrace.
But it has retrace.
I really love playing Waves of Aggression in commander decks that can hold it.
Yeah. But that's not mythic either.
No.
So Red and White has the Figure of Destiny and then a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
And
I think we cracked this code, guys.
I think so, yeah. And I think blue-green is sort of similar.
Yeah. The Cold-Eyed Silky is it's a good rare. It has Island Walk, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may draw that many cards. So, unless you're pumping it, you're only getting one card.
Yeah. But like, that's fine. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not
It's
Mythic.
not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's rare.
It's the sets, variants on Ophidian, Shadow Mage Infiltrator, Thieving Magpie, those guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Spitting
I
Image
like
is this set's clone. It's a 6 mana to create a token that's a copy of target creature, but it has retrace. But it's still just this set's clone variant.
It's expensive, but
Yeah.
Reusable cloning is cool.
Yeah, I think if it cost 4 with retrace, that would have been just insane. So
That would have been too silly.
Yeah.
yeah. And then Fable of Wolf and Owl is like the O card.
Yeah, I loved Fable of Wolf and Owl in Limited, but I'll let you in on a secret. I would do like consecutive drafts of this set on Magic Online because for a while you could do just Eventide drafts, and my strategy was, is it called Boggles now? But it was get the cheap guys in Simic and a couple auras and just win. And it was insane. So occasionally I would get like a Fable of Wolf and Owl and be like, yes, slam. So my experience is very tainted by the amount of Limited I played with this set, but I'm telling you, I would like run the table and like just do like win, get tickets, do the next one. I ended up with so many slippery boggles. So many. It was really good.
yeah. 'Cause
So anyway,
the Fable can if you don't do anything about it, it potentially can get out of hand.
but it also does nothing on its own.
Right.
Yeah. What does it do? Because I don't think we said that yet, did we?
Not yet.
For 3 and 2 green black hybrid. So
You screwed that up on
for
multiple
3 and
levels.
3 and 3 generic and 3 green blue hybrid.
There we go.
Right? So 6 mana enchantment. Whenever you cast a green spell, you may trying
Create.
to look on the visual spoiler. I need the Oracle text because a lot of this language has changed. All right, whenever you cast a green spell, you may create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. Whenever you cast a blue spell, you may create a 1/1 blue bird creature token with flying.
Yeah.
Some
So for 6
words.
mana, it
Yeah,
gives
yeah,
you free
yeah.
creatures whenever you play other stuff.
Whenever, yeah. And importantly, the spells that you cast later don't need to be creature spells. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing like
That's
rampant
weird.
growth, get a 2/2. What?
Yeah. So it's like I said, if you're playing it in a hybrid deck, particularly this hybrid deck, you're making creatures left and right. And you don't even have to try. You just have to play. And you're going to be making creatures.
Yeah.
just have to play. I like that.
Like, of the 3, I think that's the closest one for me to a Mythic, but even that's not...
It's
It's
just
still
a really
not
good
there.
rare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It is a really good rare, yeah.
But it's very solidly a rare.
Yeah.
So-
No figure of destiny here.
Yeah, too bad red-white wasn't last, because...
Uh-huh.
So then we've got the lands, which are all more of the... What are these called? Filter lands?
Yes, these are enemy pair filter lands.
Yeah, and the Springjack Pasture, which is not Mythic.
Nope. Although, I tried so hard to use this card. You guys know, I put this in a couple decks. And it's so slow. It is so
Yeah.
slow.
wasn't it you put in a deck to have like a goat deck or something? Like you really tried to make goats a thing.
I tried to make goats a thing, which sounds weird, but even like I was never married to like the idea of a goat deck, but I would use changelings and such to try to make it work. So slow.
It was a shame because the goat token art, that thing was terrible. It was a beefy, like buff looking, I will
Yeah,
mess you up goat.
So check out all this majesty goat.
Yeah, like it looked like it skipped leg day and only did like chest and arm day, and then like it kicked sand in your face at the beach, and then took your girl and dared you to do something about it. I'm gonna pull that up in another window real quick. So what about the artifacts?
The Altar Golem or the Scarecrow or the Ward of Bones? Which artifact?
Or the leering emblem. Well, he's just saying, how about the artifact?
Yeah, that's what I mean. How about?
Oh, I didn't hear the S, so I thought you just said, how about the artifact?
Yeah, how about
I'm
the
like,
artifact? Just the
how
one.
about the
Here is
artifact?
the goat token, by the way, for anyone that hasn't seen it. Look at that. That isn't a goat token. That's a Satan token. This is terrifying. Okay,
It's
anyway.
like the goat from the Vitch, sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Although I still need to watch that. Damn it. So yeah, okay. So artifacts. What do we care? Are there any? Is there anything good here?
No. Like when I was looking through these cards, like I saw Ward of Bones. Like, oh, Ward of Bones. I remember that's weird. Let me read it. Oh, maybe this is Ward of Bones. But then I stopped and thought about what all that really meant, like in a practical sense. I'm like, wow, that's not good at all.
I tried to use it, and no.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I came up with.
Mm-hmm.
So what's it do, by the way?
So it costs 6. Each opponent who controls more creatures than you can't play creature cards. The same is true for artifacts, enchantments, and lands. I mean, that's the thing. It's not that you have to already be behind before it actually kicks in and stops your opponent from getting even more ahead on board in certain ways. So it's like,
Hopefully,
okay.
if you have 6 mana to play this, you're actually doing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like if this is your only artifact and you don't have any enchantments in your deck, I guess, that might help if you know for a fact your opponent is doing a lot of one or both of those things. But besides that, it's like, no, it reads a lot better than it plays.
Yeah. So that sucks. That's why you give them goats. Sorry. Also, hey, Dirk resubbed for the 31st month. Thanks, buddy.
Cool.
Oh, and then so did Mike for the 46th month. Look at him. Brian doesn't use his Prime token to sub to me because Brian doesn't love me. But yeah, the Ward of Bones, like Mike said, it reads better than it plays. The Scarecrow is fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
After the Reaper King. Yeah.
But even then, the second ability can do a lot. Pay 4 tap, return target artifact creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Yeah.
That can be silly.
Yeah, that's the real reason to play the Scarecrow.
Mm-hmm.
The leering emblem gives the equipped creature, oh god, what is that? Like super
prowess.
Thank you. And then the Altar Golem is just a big dumb creature with an actual drawback. Remember those?
Yeah. Kind of miss those from time to time.
I always liked the design of the Altar Golem, but never played it because it's not good. But for 7 mana, it's a Golem with Trample. Its power and toughness are equal to the number of creatures on the battlefield. But it doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. And you have to tap 5 creatures you control to untap it. Which, I mean...
Yeah, or just play Voltaic Key. That's fine.
Or... exactly, yeah. Give it some ability that... or some equipment or something that has untap on it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Artifacts are kind of meh. But
Yeah.
that makes sense in this set that's built around multicolored.
That's definitely the bread and butter of the set.
Yeah. Oh my god, is that it? Are we done with Eventide?
We're not just done with Eventide.
Man, we're
This
done
is
with the Mythic Conscription at Asterisk. I keep saying that because we still haven't figured it out or even talked or thought about it, but I'm sure we're going to do something with core sets. We're not going to do all the core sets, but we're probably going to do something. At least
figure
one or
something
two.
out. But this is the end of this part of it, at least. So
Yeah, after...
yeah.
What did I say? 2015 was when we did the second one?
Mm-hmm.
Good lord. In February of 2015. And
Yeah.
which means we probably did it at the end of 2014 or, in January of 2015. Because back then we used to do things bunched up when we could.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have anything else going
Especially if we enjoyed, like, hey, this is pretty cool. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. We did it. We've gone through all of the pre-Mythic expansions and given it the Mythic Conscription treatment, which is just crazy. So, let us know what you think of Eventide and how we did. Would it have been weird for the gods and the lieges to switch between sets?
Yes.
How would you have reacted back then? Would Figure of Destiny have been mythic, or would they have cut us a break and made it rare? All of those questions, that I usually ask after a Mythic Conscription. Also, I missed it because of the subscriptions. Cardboard Samurai said Satan worships that goat. Ah. Buh. That also weirds me out because, just to pull up the art again, this goat has like humanoid shape to it.
Yes.
Like it looks like more of a satyr. But it was Therese Nielsen art, and she sucks. And so, oh well. We didn't know it at the time.
Yeah. The art description might just have been like, hey, draw a cool goat. So, okay, here's a cool goat. It's like, okay, not exactly what I had in mind, but yes.
But it is a cool goat.
It's a cool goat.
So, hey, you know what? Before we do all of the shout-outs and whatnot, I'm going to remind everybody to go to patreon.com/themanapool to become a lifeguard to help support what we do here. And you too can be a mythic lifeguard like Al, Kim Ho, Scuzzo, John Parker, Jake Jansons, Michael? Timu Hellas Haryu, Jason Cows, Casey, Jason Doan, ALK Alters, and Andrew Odie. And, of course, a thank you to all of our lifeguards at every tier. I appreciate you. And to all of you listening, or watching, or whatever. So, it is the end of an era, my dorks. How about we do the final thoughts thing and then, stop.
That sounds great. For my final thought, first, this is the first official episode of the new year, right? So happy 2024, everybody. I'm doing all right, although I'm extremely tired. I have said before that jury trials are one of the most exhausting things that I do in my job. Law and Order makes it look like we do these all the time, and maybe some attorneys, that's all they do. But when I'm not doing this, I'm running around doing other quote unquote normal cases. But when I do these, they are draining. And doing even a couple of years, just a lot. And I'm just literally coming off of one that finished when has been going all week. We were there past or until 7:30 last night, and then finished up this morning. I am here because I told these guys I want to talk to my friends and talk about some Eventide, and I'm good now. So I'm gonna go collapse. But this has been a wonderful experience. So proud that we are still doing this all these years later. Even if we don't even play that much Magic anymore, it's still really cool to look at this stuff. So I hope everyone out there is doing well. I hope you're healthy and safe. And everybody have a great night or whatever time it is.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Night, B.
B. And for my final thought, I also echo what Brian said. I hope everyone had a good holiday, New Year's, Christmas, whatever it is that you celebrate. And I'm hoping for a better 2024. I'm being optimistic, and we'll just hope and see what happens over the course of events this year. Trying to think if there's anything else. Well, I can't think of anything, but like I said, I hope everyone has a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the not too distant future.
Yay.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Night, Zerg.
Good night.
Well, how about you, Beardy Man?
Okay. It's interesting that we're ending on Eventide, the way the show started out. The very first set we talked about. Well, I say we. I wasn't on those first couple episodes.
Well, no, that was Morningtide.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't finish my sentence. I interrupted myself, and it sounded like the first set we talked about was Morningtide. I say we, even though I wasn't on there. But so it's almost full circle. It's like when you're drawing a circle, but you cut it a little too close at the end, so now you just have one of those little pointy bits of pen ink sticking out, and it looks weird, but that's okay. It's close enough. Drawing circles freehand is hard. You should be proud of yourself. You're getting that close. Gosh,
You are so cute.
I made myself lose track of what I was talking about. But the Mythic Conscription feature as a whole was always really interesting. I know we've gone around and around on what exactly it means to be mythic and what we think it means to be mythic. Didn't we do like a kind of okay, let's talk about this episode after one of our
after Kamigawa with the gods and the dragons and whatnot, we were like, look, because we get a lot of like pushback from the community and the listeners on that, I think.
Yeah, people were like, what?
That, and we like butted heads during the episode, and so we were like, look, let's do a whole episode just about that.
Mm-hmm. Gosh.
And that was long enough ago now to where I don't remember any of the stuff we actually talked about.
No. It didn't take very long before we just couldn't remember. We just knew that we had said one thing and then we had said one thing initially and then done another. We just couldn't remember which was which. But yeah, I'll share the same sentiments as the other guys. I do wish everyone out there a good and fortune-filled new year. I'm optimistic.
Yeah. Yeah, here we go. It was 404 actually from 2016. What does it mean to be mythic?
Awesome.
Because we did in 398 we did Kamigawa.
Mm-hmm.
And
by the time it posted and we had gotten the feedback, then it was episode 404 when we ended up responding to it.
Oh no, we had like previews and stuff get in the way, I think.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Because the very first thing I said in this episode was, this week we're taking it back to a topic that we wanted to do almost 2 months ago, but we couldn't fit it in.
Ah.
So yeah, it was because of the Myosian and the dragons. So yeah. It was a long time ago, is what I'm saying. Oh, the good old days.
Yeah, yeah.
So is that it for you?
It is.
Well, for me, I don't know. It's going to be... Like, one thing I love about the Mythic Conscription, it was a good fallback. If we couldn't think of anything to talk about, it'd be like, well, let's just do the next Mythic Conscription. Everybody would go, yeah, that works. And now we don't have that. We're going to have to start putting effort in again. Son of a bitch. Because the No Plane Like Home, it doesn't... That requires thought. Like this...
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you, but I never... After a while, I stopped like doing heavy research and staring at these cards real hard ahead of time. And I like... At the most, I would open up the set, glance through, and yep, all right, and then let it roll around in my head for a while until we did the show. Like,
yeah, I used to look at stuff beforehand and even made notes a couple times. Then there was a long period of time where I intended to look at stuff beforehand but didn't, and then after that, I dropped the pretense and just
we'll do it live.
Yeah, pulled up Gatherer when we started the show.
Yeah. Because it's not that it's a like a zero effort thing. It just doesn't require any forethought. Because these are all cards that live in my head. That I know. Like, I might not know them all intimately off the top of my head, but once I look at them, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this card. So...
Yeah, because these were periods of time where, if not all of us, at least a couple of us were down in the game really playing it.
Yeah. So there wasn't... I didn't have to do prep work. I could just go off. Like Mike said, just open up Gatherer when we start the show and go from there.
Yeah, and if someone, because they just don't remember or not thinking straight says something particularly ignorant, the rest of us will rein them back in.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be weird not to have this to fall back on. Although we do need to figure out, hey, if you out there have any ideas what we should do for like core sets, I figure we should probably do, if not alpha, then like, I don't know, revised or 4th edition or something.
Well, yeah,
something early.
Alpha Beta Unlimited. We need to do that. Maybe, let's see. Did new designs start in, I can't remember this. Did new designs start in 10th edition or M10?
Oh, hell, I can't remember.
Okay, well, that's easy to look up.
Yeah. I think 10th edition was the... No, I'm sorry. Didn't it go 10th edition and then the next set was M10?
Mm-hmm.
God, that was stupid. I think
M10
M10 is where they started with the new cards, I think.
Did that also have the big rules revamp?
That I don't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, this is a conversation to have not live on the show. But if you out there have any suggestions for how we should do any of these, then let us know. I don't remember when Mythics came out and like what the core set was. Do you remember?
I can't see an orange 10th edition symbol in my head. I think I can see an orange M10 symbol in my head.
Samurai says 10th edition.
Really?
M10. Wait. I don't know what he means by that, though.
Maybe Samurai didn't understand the question. The first core set to have Mythics, I think it was M10. I don't think it was 10th edition.
Oh no, we could solve this easy. Oh, he said M10 was. Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Why can't I see the orange X in my head?
Probably because there wasn't one. I just typed 10th edition into the simple search on Gather because I'm an idiot. 10th edition, go. Yeah, because there wasn't one. That's why you can't see it.
Okay.
See, that was easy. Descending rarity. Yep. All right, then. So maybe we'll do, like, Alpha Beta Unlimited and 10th edition and be done. Maybe. Maybe. But, again, let us know. But now... Oh, yeah, my final thought. Do I have a final thought? Hey, I finished Sea of Stars. It was amazing. I'm playing Final Fantasy III on Fridays. Final Fantasy Fridays on stream. I'm playing through Separate Ways in Resident Evil 4. It's so good. I forgot how much I loved Resident Evil 4 until I started playing it again. And then after dying really, really badly the first time, I got the muscle memory back. And it was way better. I kept trying to run and swiping my knife at nothing and going, what? Because that's run in a different video game. Comma, stupid. And yeah, I'm still working out all of the plans for the Chivos for Charity stream, which, again, I'm pretty sure will be like in like the beginning of March, maybe something like that, maybe. So what the Chivos for Charity stream is, I've got a bunch of achievements that I don't have, obviously, in several games that I'm gonna put, and they're all achievements that like require effort but not a super long amount of grinding, you know. And I'm gonna put them all on like the wheel of achievement or something, and on, because there are websites, you know, where you can make wheels and then spin them. And so that's gonna be how I determine what I play at any given point, is when I either get the achievement that I'm going for or run out of attempts for some of them. Like I put the Skull Storm achievement and inscription on it because why not? But I'm not gonna grind for that. It's gonna be like 1, maybe 2 attempts per spin. But and that'll be what I play. And then as we accrue donations, I've got the giant spreadsheet of games to give away that's like damn near 900 games, and I'm going to break that up into pieces. And as we hit, donation milestones, I'm going to reveal another piece of the spreadsheet. But I also want to do other milestones, things.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm bad at that. So if any of you listening have any ideas for what donation milestones could be, for some reason when I posted this on social media, nobody understood. I'm not looking for, hey, if you donate a certain amount, you get this. No, think of like stretch goals. Like if we hit $1,000, then something will happen.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Scott had a good one. He said I should make a Twitch emote for the thing and then release it when that happens. The problem is I can't just release a Twitch emote. It has to go through Twitch's process. But I could make an emote for it and not send it to Twitch until we hit a certain goal, I guess. I don't know what the emote would be, but So, yeah, but if you have any ideas for things to do on stream, like the donation milestones, just to keep things interesting, I'm going to try to get some dorks to swing by during the day and keep me company and interact with chat and whatnot, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be an all-weekend affair. So, yeah. Gonna raise money for... I need to figure out which trans charity I'm gonna give to. The one that most people keep mentioning is Trans Lifeline, I'm pretty sure. But I haven't done any research into their deal myself, so I'm not gonna be like, yeah, until I do some digging. But if you have any suggestions for that too, let me know. Basically, if you have any ideas for how to make the Chivos for Charity stream better, then throw them at me. There's a whole channel in the Discord, charity streams, or on any amount of social media. By the way, I have embraced, using Twitter and BlueSky and Threads now. So if you're on any of those, look me up. I'm still the Manapool on all of them. I refuse to call it X. You go to hell, Elon. And I'm only there because I'm not leaving just because he sucks. He should be the one that leaves.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So with that, we're going to stop talking now. So this has been episode 693, the final, holy crap, Mythic Conscription. Wow. That's so weird to say out loud. I don't like it, Mike.
Well, yeah, I'm there with you.
But, yeah. Sorry. It's still weird. I'm glazing over again. So, yeah, this has been episode 693, the final Mythic Conscription. Thank you all so very much for joining us. And, which liege is your favorite?